I appreciate Congressman Smith and the others having this press conference, and I appreciate the media coverage that this has gotten in all the major newspapers around the country. I want to commend Google. I think their corporate leadership is really a bright light. It reminds me of the American companies who pulled out of South Africa during the dark days of apartheid, when they had that social conscience to do the right thing, and those countries and those companies that even during the dark days of fascism in Germany also did the right thing. So I think we should all commend and stand with Google. Other companies should stand with Google. And the Obama administration needs to be standing up and supporting Google. Instead, unfortunately, we have seen a muted response at best. The State Department spokesman yesterday could only muster the following, and here's what he said. We have had questions over time about a range of things, from intellectual property rights to the standards in terms of some of the exports that have come into the country. At one level, this is the kind of economic question that is part of our relationship. In terms of U.S.-China relationship, it is broad, it is deep, it is expanding, and durable. Nowhere did he say what Google has done was right, and nowhere did he say what Chinese have been doing to human rights dissidents, to other corporations for proprietary information is wrong. Every time they steal proprietary information, they're stealing jobs from Americans. They're taking jobs away, and many of the companies have been reluctant to speak out. Where, God bless Google, they have been willing to speak out. We are long past the point of questions. Today's news reports reveal that the attack on Google is just the tip of the iceberg, part of a much larger political and corporate espionage effort. And as Congressman Smith will tell you and other members, our computers 2 years ago were hit by the Chinese. And then the previous administration didn't want to say anything, and this administration doesn't want to deal with that issue. Among the 34 other companies reportedly affected are household names: Yahoo, Adobe, Northrop Grumman, and Dow Chemical. China appears to have gone after companies in strategic industries. And again, this is nothing new. The Wall Street Journal reported today that, quote, Chinese cyber spies steal intellectual property from U.S. organizations valued at $40 billion to $50 billion each year, according to our intelligence agency. That's American jobs. That's men and women. If you look at the unemployment rate of 10%, many of that has had the result of some of the theft that's been taking place by China. According to the recently released U.S.-China Economic and Security Commission annual report, they said, quote, China's government has long tolerated rampant violations of intellectual property rights. China also imposed stringent censorship and performance and distribution restrictions on important movies and books and intellectual content, end of quote. The commission went on to report that the World Trade Organization found that China failed to comply with its obligations in terms of enforcement of intellectual property rights and to provide sufficient market access to intellectual property rights. In a statement yesterday, the NGO Human Rights Watch pointed out that Google's actions, quote, highlight the growing dangers faced by information technology firms in China. I urge others in the business community who have found themselves victims of China's spying and flagrant intellectual property violations, and they know who they are, to join Google in speaking out and taking action. I call on those companies who have been complicit with the Chinese government in censoring the Chinese people to join Google in looking beyond their bottom line. The argument once heard during the debate surrounding permanent normal trade relations for China now rings hollow. Greater market access was supposed to result in greater political openness. The U.S. was going to change China. Sadly, these predictions have not been realized. But Google's recent announcement is a heartening step in a new direction. This principled stand will surely give hope to the millions of Chinese people who yearn for freedom and cry out for basic human rights. May Google inspire other companies in this administration to act. Congress, as many know, has appropriated $35 million to support internet freedom this year. The State Department must now act quickly to award this funding to organizations with a field-tested ability to circumvent the Chinese firewalls. If this administration doesn't act soon to stand with Google, to stand with the Chinese people, to stand with the American workers who have lost their jobs because of what China has done, they will quickly find themselves, the Obama administration will find themselves on the wrong side of history.